I said initially, I wouldn't like literally be grateful for a hardship that I'm facing. That is the point where I would complain and wonder like, why is this happening? And then get so much stress. But after taking time in situations and just going through the process to a point that you're now back again into your right senses and just very much okay mentally and physically, you're like, there's something different about who I am right now and who I was before the hardship was. And that's when I started being grateful for the challenges.
Hello everyone, welcome to Balance It podcast. Balance It is a platform that empowers young men and women to live a purposeful life. We help you navigate through the challenges of life and gain stability in all your spheres of life.
We engage in conversations relating to purpose-driven living, health, fitness, entrepreneurship, and anything related to lifestyle.
Our massive transformative purpose is transformation through wellness.
If you like this episode, make sure that you subscribe and share it with your family and friends. I am Gertrude Nasike.
And I am Eda Onyoni.
Welcome back to the Balance It podcast. In this episode, we're going to discuss about gratitude. What is gratitude? Why we need to be gracious and grateful in life, and what our journeys have been, and also the tips that we use to track our gratitude.
Definitely, yes. And maybe we can start by understanding what we mean by gratitude based on our personal understanding of gratitude.
So for me, gratitude is just being grateful or just being thankful for what I have, who I am, my life, of course, and basically anything around me. Yes,
I agree with you. Also, my definition is just showing appreciation.
Wow.
Yeah, showing appreciation for you, for me, for my life, for everything.
Wow. That is really well put. And there is a reason as to why we need to be grateful. Initially, I wasn't so much conscious or aware that we really need to be intentionally grateful. You would just see that you woke up today and you're like, you wouldn't even notice you're it's such a big thing because it's so familiar to you right now, right? But with time, I've noticed that it's very important to be intentionally aware of the little things and be grateful about. Would you tell us probably what the significance of gratitude is in our lives? Yes.
Just from my definition, yes, gratitude is showing appreciation. And it begins from the smallest things to the major things in life. And I'll just say how I've been practicing gratitude in my life. It began like when we were young, and it is something that was instilled in our minds, that if somebody gives you maybe a banana, a sweet, like those small things, you have to say thank you. And that thank you might just seem like a thank you to you, but it is something very big for the other person, because you actually don't know about people's lives. So for me, it's been the small things, like if somebody gives you something, just being grateful for that. And you asked about
the importance of it.
The importance. So once you have shown that gratitude to that other person, if maybe you are to give me, let's say maybe the small things, maybe a notebook, and I say thank you. The next time you go to maybe you're doing your shopping, there are high chances that the fact that I was grateful, there are high chances that you can be able to buy me again a notebook or something else.
Yes.
Because I showed gratitude.
Yeah.
So I believe gratitude, being grateful, is very important in building the social relationships.
Oh wow.
So such that in case I need something, I know I can count on you, and you high chances that you will show up for me, because the way I handle your help and your kindness is I show it that it's very important to me, and I show it to you by being grateful. So it helps in building the social relationships and continuity of the relationships that we have in our everyday life, be it our parents. Just by the fact that they are our parents does not mean that they have to pay our school fees. Just being thankful for them paying our school fees. Friends, like our friends, for just being there for us in our everyday life. Something else that I've realized that people also just do it unintentionally is being grateful to the higher being, or being grateful to the universe, however the higher power that you want to, or just also being grateful to God, because that is the same way God can also give you more because you are more grateful. So building relationships, definitely.
Well, that's really great. The way you put it, especially, I just remembered. I think I also had the same kind of upbringing. When you actually given something or someone helps you, no matter how small the help is, you would literally just say thank you. And there's a time I even had a problem with a friend of mine last year, and he kept saying, like, because for every small thing I would say thank you, and he's like, you should know, it's too much, you should now stop, you should stop saying it, stop saying thank you. But for me, it's something that I've grown up knowing, like, no matter how small something is, it's just good to show appreciation. As much as sometimes maybe it can just get to a point of familiarity and just start saying thank you just because it's a routine thing. But most of the time, since it is deeply connected to you, and as you've said, it builds relationships, it really comes out intentionally, because if you're really grateful for something that has been done to you, or someone has gotten you a gift, then it means that deep within you really value whatever they've given you, no matter how small or big it is. And another thing that I would add is that it also improves or creates a sense of a positive vibe towards the other person. Because when you tell, sometimes you might even just be walking around and then you just help someone from, it might be even just picking up something that fell down, and this person would be grateful for it. Most of the time you just feel like your heart is melting with joy, or you just became happy all of a sudden. And I think there's even a research that shows that being grateful or just doing acts of kindness bring happiness. Like, you might do them without expecting something, but you'll find that maybe someone is going to be appreciative of that act, and that really makes you happy. So I would say it's very important, because it brings joy and also just makes the other person happy on the other receiving end.
And also in making them happy, or you're also happy because you actually helped somebody. And high chances that it's going to build some confidence or some self-esteem in you. High chances, because in giving, there is something that happens to our psychology when we give and we receive that appreciation, that the other person actually values whatever that you give to them. So
that's very much true. And just to mention, how would you say your way of viewing gratitude has changed, maybe from when you were a kid and right now?
So when you were a kid, you were just being told it's important to say these 3 words: thank you, please, and sorry.
But they help. They're
They really help,
right?
And I think that is the foundation that we have right now, even when we are adults, that it is not hard for you to say thank you when somebody gives you a gift. However, as many times as you can be able to say it as you, you still find it easy to say it, because actually there are some people who find it hard to say thank you.
Very true.
We can't just remove that aspect, because there are some people who find it hard. But just from childhood, being instilled that thing into our minds, it was just like, okay, it's like a routine, it's just doing it, because it has to be done, but also because you continuously say it, it now became a point of, you're not actually just saying it, it's from, you're actually saying it. You're not just saying it.
Yeah, you actually
mean whatever that you are saying. And it creates value. Like, it shows that you value the other person, or they value you in return. So my journey has grown from now that just saying it, without intentionality, to now being intentional of being grateful for my parents, my family, my friends, God, where I am at right now. It's now not just whatever that you've been given, but it is from a point of, or even like when you're praying and you are anticipating for something, you can even you start being grateful before that thing even comes, and high chances that if you start cultivating that gratitude before it even comes, it's high chances that even God can even be able to give it to you, because you have a grateful heart. So being intentional with actually be showing the gratitude, and actually showing that gratitude, not just saying thank you, but showing it in acts of kindness, showing it in gifting back, showing it in saying also the words, or not just also saying thank you, but also using words like, you are kind, I like the way you did this, so that's just the analogy of how it has happened for me.
Well, for me, it's more or less the same. I think right now I'm more intentional and aware that you can literally be thankful for even the air you breathe. Like, for the smallest things, the ones that you would feel like it is a must for you to have, even just this hand or having nails, you see, like literally the smallest things. Right now I'm very intentional, and I think it's also through the help of maybe the kind of journal that I use, the gratitude journal that I use, which we'll also discuss some of the tips or tools we use, because it would give you prompts, and literally it can just give you a prompt of be grateful for just right now, like what you feel, or the smallest thing, even just how the wind is blowing, right? You see, just like the smallest things you can also be grateful for. So that is how I think my mentality has changed. So being very intentional with even the smallest things that most of the time before I would take them for granted and just didn't see as if it's such a big deal or it is actually not a privilege but rather a right. But I came and understood it's not. It is by God's grace.
Exactly. And I've just also remembered this speech where and somebody said, I want to thank me, and I like.
Last but not least, I want to thank me. I want to thank me for believing in me. I want to thank me for doing all this hard work. I want to thank me for having no days off. I want to thank me for never quitting. I want to thank me for always being a giver and trying to give more than I receive. I want to thank me for trying to do more right than wrong. I want to thank me for just being me at all times.
Over time as well, for me, it has been thanking myself for showing up for myself, for showing up for who I am. And actually, it helps you in your self-confidence, in your personal development journey, not just saying that I will thank Gertrude, I will thank my family, but forgetting myself. I am the participant.
That's very true.
Yes.
Yeah. So, in order to now cultivate this gratitude, because we've cultivated this gratitude, form of gratitude growing up, but in form of maybe being thankful to the things we are given, and not maybe being thankful to maybe most of the actions we receive or the services, or just being intentional with the most little things. How do you think we can now cultivate gratitude, or what are the practical ways you use to cultivate your gratitude and to just keep being at it and staying intentional?
Yeah, exactly. And the intentionality is very important. I like that you brought up that aspect. Myself, what I have done is depending with the people who are around me. And I normally say like there are like three forms of people who are around us. There is myself, and then there is the people who are around me. That is now like the interpersonal relationship that I have with the people who are around me. And then there is the third one that is the spiritual. So the spiritual being. So in all these aspects, in all these three aspects, there are different ways, or maybe they might be a little bit similar in terms of how you cultivate that gratitude. So for myself personally, it might look like taking a rest, thanking myself, just talking to myself in a good way, taking care of my mental health and taking care of my whole person as an individual. To other people, it could be like thanking you, giftings, giving those right words that will help, that will also help the other person know that they are good at that thing and they can be able to cultivate it. And also in terms of the spiritual being, it's being grateful for the small things that you have talked about, like air. Air is not mandatory that you have to have the air that you breathe. Things like meditation, prayer. I feel like those are things that help me be able to continue cultivate this gratitude journey that I am in, because I feel like it never ends. So it has to be like continuously nourished and continuously nurtured.
And I like how you've really put it, especially the dividing, like the ways in which you can tackle the different groups here, or the different spheres that are very much affecting or impacting our lives. And I would just add on it and say, for me, it's just continuously practicing what probably I've been taught, or what stands with my core values. Because sometimes, yes, you would have maybe the acts of kindness, but most of them it's just because they're also in line with what you want to achieve and who you are as a person. Being kind, being grateful, being thankful to situations and to people is something that mostly would still just align with who you are as a person. So that, and also listening to people who speak about gratitude as well, because maybe you would listen to maybe podcasts whereby, or just search more about gratitude and trying to understand how it is and how can you improve in it. And especially for me, I think what triggered my intentionality also was the fact that I knew also gratitude plays a very big role in happiness creation, or just being joyful. Who doesn't want to be happy?
Who doesn't?
Yeah, first for me, I do. And so I just doing that, like just trying to search more about this and listening or consuming more of this information to do with gratitude helps me. And I love the way you also placed about thanking yourself. For me, I literally use affirmations, like the personal or self-love affirmations to really thank myself and be grateful for myself. Wake up and say today is going to be a good day, and I'm very grateful because it's already a good day, you see. And it kind of just changes your mood and just puts you into this very vibrant situation.
I agree totally. And even as we are still building this gratitude journey, or even as we are continuing this thing that has been instilled in us for very long, definitely there are some times that you feel like there are some barriers or there are some challenges that can make you not be actually grateful.
True.
So have you experienced that, and maybe what are those things and how did you overcome them?
I have experienced them a lot, so many times. Why are you laughing?
A lot.
I have a lot because it happens a lot. And I think for me, one thing is familiarity. There's a saying or a quote that goes, familiarity brings contempt.
Yes.
When you feel like you're too familiar with something, and I think it was just yesterday that we were talking about us being too familiar with a place to the point that we no longer see how beautiful. Okay, it is still very beautiful, but you no longer find, maybe the peace or the satisfaction you used to get the first time you saw that place or the first time you stepped in that place. You see, it's like you're saying everything is like normal, which is a very bad thing. So I would say for me, familiarity with the things around me, or sometimes the situations, has made me at times not be grateful, because you feel like I'm kind of entitled to this, which is not true. You forget that this is actually a privilege. You waking up in the morning is not a guarantee. It is a privilege, so you need to be grateful for it. But if you're too familiar that you just think, I will wake up in the morning and it is a normal thing, then that might lead you to not be grateful in it. And then another thing is just life. Sometimes life just happens, or sometimes also just you're frustrated and stressed. And you wouldn't be in a position to see a positive side of something. Something that I realized, and it took a very long time for me to realize or accept, is being grateful for challenges that we also face, not just for the good things as well. Being grateful for the challenges we are facing, or something bad that really happened. Initially, I wouldn't be in a position to, and it's not like about toxic positivity, I wouldn't be in a position to really calm myself down and look at the positive side of this situation. Or maybe I'm angry at someone or at a situation, and I just fail to realize how important these people are to me, or how important this gift or whatever I have at that moment is. And people say that you realize the importance of something mostly when it's been taken away from you. You see, so those are some of the things that I would say have been barriers before, but it's something that we keep on learning and unlearning, and just how to overcome it. For me, it got to a point, like, as you're working on your personal development journey, and also just honestly resting in God really helps, and just trusting that His way is actually
Will prevail.
Will prevail either way, and that is something that has really helped me in trying to look at the positive sides of situations and being grateful for them. And even if not at that moment I feel like it, I'm just like, I'll just wait, I'll just be hopeful for something better. And also just ensuring that right now, if I feel like I've started being too familiar, or I've started taking something with so much familiarity, I normally take a step back and try to rethink of the memories that really contributed to me loving that place, or me wanting to be so much grateful, or feeling like whatever I'm into or whatever I'm doing is of so much importance at the first place, so as to just not to forget and just become too familiar and forget that and not be grateful for it. So rekindling some of those thoughts and memories helps in me staying within the gratitude sphere and not being too familiar with situations or opportunities that I once really prayed for, or I once really, it's like, if this happens, if this happens, this is it. There was a time it was at that point. There's no reason as to why it got from that point to a point like, I really don't care. It cannot get to that point. So I really try to rethink of such memories, and it helps me to stay on track and lower the familiarity.
Wow. Yes. I love what you have talked about. Just going back to the memories and understanding actually why did you even find yourself in this place at the beginning. I love that because it actually helps us to go back to the basics. And once we go back to the basics, this is something that we've always been saying here. Once we go back to the basics, you always get the answers most of the time. Yeah, just to add on whatever that you have said, I agree with this when you are stressed and the other aspect of familiarity. And just maybe to add on to that, and add just maybe one thing, is comparing myself with others. I have realized that there was a time, and especially with social media, there was a time now, and actually that is what helped me now start my personal journey, because I'm like, why am I really comparing myself with other people, and they have different circumstances. Whatever I'm seeing maybe on social media is not whatever that I have, or whatever that they're actually going through. And that thing made me rethink, because when you're comparing yourself with others, it's like, I'm seeing Gertrude has this podcast. It's like her life is going on so well, she has her life together, she speaks so well, and maybe when I look at myself, I'm like, what have I done by this age? I have not done anything. So it's like you build resentment in your mind, and you actually now, you're not thankful for where you are at. And there's this saying that you are in your answered prayer, not appreciating the fact that you are actually in your answered prayer, and now focusing on Gertrude, who I don't even know what struggles that she has behind the scenes or behind the screens. So comparing ourselves with others is a very big stumbling block, because it's like you are not grateful for where you think that you are, and you are actually where you are. You are actually where you are supposed to be. Yes. So wherever you are, so just don't stop this comparing culture, because we have social media everywhere, and we have to train our minds to be in this place where we are content with whatever that we are doing, and just focused on our goals and with God.
Wow, that's really well put. And from just the challenges, like there are these, for me, I would say I've been using a particular technology. Like, technology has really played a huge role in my gratitude journey. And just I started being very intentional with now maybe using technology in my gratitude journey. We've spoken about habit tracking. So gratitude, maybe for me, journaling has always been something that I would want to do. Would you maybe share with us like some of the tips that have really helped you at the moment, maybe technological wise, or even some of the physical tips that you use to maybe put your memories or to remain grateful for something?
Yeah, this year I decided to do the gratitude jar, and it has really helped me. But I said I will open it at the end of the year.
Yeah.
But every week, I use the gratitude jar, whereby every week I ensure that I put a note inside there that's something that I am grateful for in that week, or something that actually stood out for me. Because definitely, in a week there are so many things you're supposed to be grateful for.
Yes.
But one major thing that stood out for me that I would want to put in the gratitude jar. So myself, I have used the gratitude jar for myself as an individual. But when it comes to other people, basically it's just creating time, because also time is very precious.
Time is important.
Like creating time for people to have conversations, to just be in a social gathering with people and just enjoy each other's spaces is very important as well. And it's something that I have used as well. The gratitude journal that you referred me to, I used it as well, but I've not been super consistent with it. But I also like it because of the prompting that it normally gives. And every day because I set my alarm at 8 every day, I have to write something. So every day at 8 it's normally like, write something that you are grateful about today. What is one thing that stood out for you today? Be grateful for the air that you are breathing right now. So such apps like the gratitude app that maybe we can just put a screenshot of how it looks like that in case you would wish to use it. Yes, it's really helped me, especially now in those days when maybe you see a prompt that actually resonates with you and actually want to feel it in. So yeah.
That's really nice. And for me, I would say basically it's also that, like for the gratitude jar journal. Yeah, like for me, it's slightly, I would say, close to now 10 months now, around 10 or 9 months, because I started sometime late last year. And I love how consistent it helps you, because sometimes you might have a lot of things to put down when it comes, maybe you want to do your gratitude journal on paper, but you don't have those prompts every time. So for me, the fact that it was giving me prompts, it used to really help me, like I can literally do and write what I'm grateful for and pour my heart out, and it really would help. And just as I said, going back to memories, sometimes you feel when you're feeling so stressed or you're not sure, like maybe it's something an opportunity that you once asked for and you're sure you were grateful for it and you noted it down, and later on you start feeling like this is really stressing me out, or maybe you no longer feel like you have the strength to go on. I just normally go back to that memory, and then when I read through that memory, I'm like, wait, whoever wrote this is the same person writing maybe 5 months later, but the mood doesn't seem like it's same. So when I read this past memory on a particular maybe opportunity, I kind of feel like I get reignited and now have the strength to move on. So that's really something that has really helped and worked for me so far. For the gratitude jar, I had started it as well, but I opted to now just shift completely to the gratitude journal, because at least it's something that right now it has now become a habit that is actually very consistent, and I do it every morning. If I don't have time to do it just right after maybe my prayers and the likes, I would do it maybe in the bus going to school or while on transit doing something else. So it is something that really has really helped me. Yes.
And guys, just so you know, we are all different. So you can say that the gratitude jar might work for me, but the gratitude journal might work for me. But for gratitude, maybe it's just the gratitude journal. Like, find your thing that will help you be on track.
Yes.
But the importance is the goal is to be grateful. So
Yes.
find a way that helps you actually make it visible for you and showing that you are actually grateful. So just find your way.
It can be even just a collection of things. Maybe a day that you're gratitude for, you will pick one sticker and put it somewhere on your room, or you would pick maybe one bead and put somewhere depending on the colors, just like something that really works for you, and you feel like it's also fun because you also don't want something that you will struggle as well with it. And this brings us to, we've talked about the challenges we've had, and we've also said sometimes life just happens, sometimes life isn't smooth always, and at this point we maybe face so much hardships. I've spoken about changing my mindset to nowadays also embracing gratitude for even a challenge that I would face. What is your take on expressing gratitude during hardships? And do you think this is just good, or it's just toxic positivity?
I think everything happens for a reason. And once you understand that, you realize that you're not in control of anything possible. You, even whatever the next one that I'm going to say right now, it's not within my control. And understanding that, especially in our growing journey, or when maybe you are creating any habits, or whenever you're starting anything, you will definitely experience hardships. But understanding that hardship that happened, or that problem that you are facing, or that stress that you are facing, it's just there for a reason, number one. And there is a reason behind everything.
True.
And that reason, you won't realize it today. You might realize it next year. You might realize it. You might not even realize it, but at some point you will just know why it actually happened. And there is somebody who told me that, like, maybe when I'm talking to the person and I'm like, I'm so stressed, they're like, even a bad day has only 24 hours. So the day will come to an end. So even if you are facing that stressful day, it will come to an end. But once you understand that whatever that you are facing through, it has, there is a reason behind it. And you are in that place for a reason. You will actually be grateful for that reason. Saying it is easy, but when you are in that pitfall, it's very hard to actually now be grateful because of now maybe something bad that happened. But understanding that and acknowledging that, and just reaffirming yourself that, and also talking about the memories, going back to the memories, that even if maybe there is a pattern, this happened the other time, I maneuvered through it. Even this one, I will definitely be able to maneuver through it. And a day has 24 hours, so it will definitely come to an end. So just understanding that is very important, to be able to continuously be grateful. And I don't think it is toxic positivity. I mean, I think toxic positivity might come from a point of you're now using gratitude to now manipulate people. So it's like, I keep on saying to you, thank you, Gertrude, for...
I see where this is going.
But now, my whole end goal is to make you either like me, or maybe to manipulate you to do something for me. Those things. I feel like that is where the toxic positivity comes in.
I think for me, I would say, it's very, just as you've said, it takes time for someone to actually get to a point to understand that everything happens for a reason. Because for me, like I said, initially, I wouldn't like literally be grateful for a hardship that I'm facing. That is the point where I would complain and wonder, like, why is this happening? And then get so much stressed. But after taking time in situations and just going through the process to a point that you're now back again into your right senses and just very much okay mentally and physically, you're like, there's something different about who I am right now and who I was before the hardship was. And that's when I started being grateful for the challenges. Initially, I wouldn't understand. Initially, I wouldn't see the reason as to why. But the moment I understood that things actually work for a reason, because you wonder, like, after a certain situation, you're coming out stronger, you have more clarity, like, you're just a totally different person in a better way as compared to when you were before that situation. And you knew deep within, you now realize, if I had stayed in that situation, if I had just stayed in that comfort zone without those hardships, then it means that I would still be that same person and I wouldn't have evolved into this new creature, maybe who God wanted me to be, or this new person that really needs to embrace their full purpose in wholeness, And that's when I realized it is very important also to be grateful. It is not easy. Yes, when the hardship comes, take your time to also have that emotional refractory period and just, acknowledge, get bored, get stressed, get frustrated. It is good because also blocking emotions or trying to act like, oh, I am super strong. It's gonna break you because it's like a wound and then you just keep covering, but it's still getting rotten and getting all bad in there. And then you just keep covering. But deep down, everything is dying. You see, it's going to get to a point where you're feeling like, there's this deep smell, but where is it coming from? And you then realize it's just something that you kept covering. Leave the wound open to get dry and heal. You see, and that is very important. However, in all this, I would say there are sometimes where there are aspects of toxic positivity, even in this being grateful, because you'll find, especially when someone really faces a very challenging situation, it's very easy for maybe me and you, who maybe are already aware that everything happens for a reason. Yes, maybe we've grieved or you've struggled. We've understood everything happens for a reason. You've taken your time and gotten bored about it, but you've come out strong very fast and immediately. It is very easy for most of us when someone tells us maybe a problem they're facing, a hardship they're facing, to keep telling them, just be strong, this will pass. That person at that point doesn't have that understanding that it's happening for a reason, and they don't need that. They just want someone to listen and so that they can rant and just be themselves in their vulnerable emotional position. So I feel like sometimes aspects of toxic positivity might arise if we keep telling them, no, you have to be strong, like people have gone through this, and then just do it, sometimes maybe we need, if we embrace them and just allow them to really get to a point where they've really grieved enough, and then now we can try and bring out a logical perspective and try and make them to feel like they need to be grateful for the situation, because it means that it's happening for a reason, or maybe something better is coming. Then it's going to eliminate this aspect of toxic positivity.
Wow, I like how you brought it up. It's very powerful, especially for people who are not in this personal development journey. It's very easy to break them even more when you now use that toxic positivity on them. Now they will feel like, I don't even want to share this with anyone else, because now if I share it out, then I will be held back, not with a lot of love, but it will be from a point of, you are rebelling me and telling me that, but you're also not giving me solutions.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, so knowing the right time for everything.
Oh, that's really powerful. And I think just a final take, gratitude, we've just spoken about like how it's important in maybe our personal development, in our personal growth, and just how we've journeyed through from childhood to adulthood. What would be maybe your last advice or just your last say about how gratitude can impact in our overall personal growth journey?
I think it is very important. And also the understanding that everything happens for a reason is also important.
Yeah, true.
Once you understand that, then it will be very easy for you to practice gratitude in any area of your personal growth. You try working out, it does not happen for you today. You are grateful that you actually tried. You even came up with the thought of actually trying to work out. You try saving, it does not work out for you. You are actually grateful that you even came with it. You had actually that idea in your mind that it's possible to save. And that is like planting a seed in your mind, and later on, definitely this seed will continue germinating. And once it gets to a point, it will actually grow and it will flourish, and you will get to a point where you are actually like, I'm comfortable in my skin, I'm comfortable in who I am, and that is now where the personal growth, now we can see it being embodied in you. So I believe that gratitude is very important. Also in terms of the people that we associate with, because we are human beings, we are social beings. So it means that being grateful throughout our journey, in our growth, in our personal growth journey, it means that we are also appreciating the other people who are around us. It means that they will also help us in our personal growth journey. So it helps you as an individual in so many ways that we cannot sometimes you cannot see. In terms of how we treat people, how they treat us back. It all begins with gratitude, I can say. So it is very important.
That's really well put. And I will just add on it and say it brings alignment in the spheres of our personal growth. I was listening to some lady in one of the TED Talks, and she was saying you cannot, how can I put it? You cannot portion emotions, or rather block certain emotions and accept or practice other emotions. Let's say, for instance, if you are angry, it's going to, emotion is emotion, your heart is your heart. If you're angry, frustrated, it's not going to be like it would section your heart. It's like, now Eda, this section is frustration and hunger, but this section is going to have gratitude and be happy. No, it's going, if you're going to be like blocking an emotion, or you're going to be like rigid in an emotion, it's going to affect the entire bit, And so when it comes to maybe when you're putting your heart in this other maybe negative emotions or things that really are frustrating us, it means that it's also going to block a space for gratitude. And if gratitude is actually what is making our minds feel content, making our hearts feel content, and making us just be in that process of being happy and just being joyful in a way, then we probably won't be able to reach this point in our personal growth journey. But if you're allowing gratitude to take part of your heart and just be grateful for the things that we're being, it means that the impact and the ripple effect is going to be in all these other spheres of life. Because now also, if you're filling your heart with more gratitude, it's not like going to just portion like that. This left side is gratitude, do not go to this side because this side is for anger and frustration space. No, it's going to literally light up your whole heart, you understand? So, and this overall just aligns the way you feel, the way you express yourself, as you've said, and the way you interact with other people.
Wow.
Yes.
That is the word for the day. We have to end it there, guys.
Yeah.
In the same element, we express gratitude as well to you guys for continuously supporting us, continuously commenting. It's very massive for us. Continuously sharing with your friends and family, and we are super grateful. Just go home with gratitude in our hearts.
And also, you can make sure you comment and share your also gratitude tips and what gratitude looks like to you. And share with a friend this episode and the channel itself. Subscribe and don't forget to put the notification on so that we can also express all these views and really transform lives through wellness. And until next time,
Bye-bye.